Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into a truly incredible story about resilience, and it comes straight from Tony Robbins' notes from a friend. It's a powerful look at what any human being is capable of, when they just make a decision.
Okay, let's just start with this. I want you to imagine, just for a second, that 2/3 of your entire body is destroyed in an instant. A horrible accident takes almost everything from you. What's left? Seriously, what could possibly happen next?
Well, that brings us to W. Mitchell. He's a man who faced that exact reality after a really horrific motorcycle accident. His story kicks off with a moment that for most people would have been the absolute end.
The damage, it was just catastrophic. Burns covering 66% of his body. His face was so badly burned you couldn't even recognize him. And his recovery was this long, agonizing ordeal, stuck in a hospital bed. It's a situation that most of us, let's be honest, would find completely impossible to overcome.
But right there, in that hospital bed, surrounded by all that pain and all that loss, Mitchell made a choice, a really profound choice. And it was a decision that wouldn't just define the rest of his life, but would go on to inspire so many other people. So, instead of focusing on everything he'd lost, his looks, his ability to move, his whole past life, he decided to focus entirely on what he could still give. He made this conscious choice to shift his attention outward, to actually helping other people, right from his hospital bed.
And this right here, this just shows you the powerful split between our circumstances and our choices. You see, on one side, you have the reality, a burned, unrecognizable face. But on the other, you have his choice, to offer a smile, to try and light up someone else's world. His reality was being stuck in a bed, but his choice was to be the guy who listens to other people's pain. He couldn't change what happened to him, but he had total control over how he responded. But his story doesn't end there. You'd think he'd been through enough, right? Well, fate was about to test him again in the most unbelievable way you could imagine.
So a few years after he recovered from those devastating burns, Mitchell was in another catastrophic event. This time, it was a plane crash.
Okay, so this is the crucial point. The man who had already literally rebuilt his life from the ashes was now facing a completely new and what would seem like an insurmountable obstacle. He was now not only scarred, but he was also paralyzed from the waist down, confined to a wheelchair.
What would you do in that moment? What would any of us do? After a second life-altering tragedy, it would be totally understandable to just give up. But for Mitchell, the answer was clear, and it was not despair.
So once again, right there in the hospital, he found a new focus, a new goal. And it was a goal that most people would call absolutely impossible. His new mission? To win the affection of the nurse who was taking care of him. Now his friends, as the story goes, thought he was being foolish. And maybe a part of him thought so too. But he just refused to give up on his dreams. He was determined to create a bright future for himself, no matter what. And this just brilliantly shows his method. He couldn't rely on his physical body anymore, so he looked at the tools he still had. He used his sharp mind to have great conversations with her. He used his playful sense of humor to make her laugh. And he let his free spirit shine through to show her the dynamic, amazing person that existed way beyond his physical limitations. He used the very core of who he was to go after this new dream.
And incredibly, it worked. He took a chance where most people wouldn't have even dared to try, and it completely paid off. He and that nurse, they eventually got married. His decision to just act, to use what he had, completely changed his life. Again.
Mitchell's story isn't just some remarkable tale about one guy's survival. It's a powerful lesson for every single one of us about the miracle of our own will. So the real takeaway here is how you can apply this same mindset to your own life.
Inspired by what Mitchell did, the source material actually lays out a 5-step process for building up your own will. It starts with becoming friends with yourself, just like Mitchell had to make peace with his new reality. Then it moves on to setting clear goals, like he did. First to help others, then to win his nurse's heart, and defining them, scheduling them, and constantly focusing on what you want to achieve.
And it really all starts with that very first step. Stop punishing yourself for things that have happened in the past. You have to make a conscious choice to shift your focus away from the problems and start looking for the solutions. It's a simple change in perspective, but it's profound. And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. Mitchell's reason was to help others, to find love, to live a full life no matter what his circumstances were. His reasons were so powerful, they helped him overcome things we can't even imagine. So just let that sink in for a second. What is your reason?